What are we doing today? We're ranking ultra kill levels based off of wheelchair accessibility. I have this tier maker pulled up, and we have 5 tiers. We have fully accessible. If you're in a wheelchair, if V1 had broken his legs, that he would be all good. Might need some help. There's just like one staircase or a couple staircases or like some jumps. Gonna need some help. Basically just an escalated version of might need some help. Not probable is like, it's just not gonna happen most likely unless you become the old guy from Happy Wheels and put thrusters on your wheelchair and die is exactly what it is. If you're in a wheelchair, you will just die. No stairs, no jumping, no wall jumps, no dashing. We're not gonna include enemies for the sake of this video. We're gonna assume no enemies. Just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't punch. Now, fists and guns are still feasible. Just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't fall. I don't think this level is getting fully accessible rank. You know, with a little bit of help, you could make that. Okay. No, that's not going to happen. We get stairs here instead of ramps. Okay. Not bad. Actually, incredibly bad. So, 0-1. We had plenty of ramps, jumps, wall jumps, we had everything. I'm going to go ahead and say not probable. You had a couple of jumps, some wall jumps, nothing too good. All right, moving on to 0-2. Okay, we're starting off great. I'd say it's pretty probable that a person in a wheelchair could speed through the meat grinder. Oh, hang on. I didn't notice this. Well, actually, I'm not jumping. I'm not jumping, I'm not dashing, I'm not sliding. You could definitely wheelchair, like Tony Hawk wheelchair onto here. That seems like a pretty good level to me. I would have to actually say 0-2 is fully accessible. It's definitely better than 0-1. We're not doing too bad. Moving on to 0-3. We are already required a jump here. He could technically do this. Do we count that? I severely doubt a disabled V1 would be able to maneuver his wheelchair mid-air like that. Forward. Like that. That doesn't feel very wheelchair accessible to me. And I mean, I feel like this is just a big screw you to anybody in a wheelchair right here. You know, I don't think wheelchairs really like going over such large gaps like this. And more stairs. Not good here. Plus more stairs. Lots of jumping. Lots of stairs. I'm going to have to go ahead and say 0-3 is probably a die situation. Maybe. With a little bit of help, you can do it. We'll move it to die for now, and if this tier starts to get a little too full for my liking, swap it to not probable. Oh, and stairs. Lots of stairs. Ooh, okay. That's no bueno. More stairs. And then at the end here we have more stairs. It's just a couple of stair steps, really. The stairs really don't help. Like, with a little bit of help, just a little bit, they could make it through 0-4. Moving on to our first boss level, you can already tell, not off to a good start. We got stairs right here. None of this is possible because you have to stay crouched for like all of this. And then, yeah, and then you finally get to here. This is fine, except for the fact that now we get even more stairs. I'm gonna have to say this is probably another die situation. Moving on to our first secret level. So we have to go get the red skull first. Okay, not off to a good start. I don't think a person in a wheelchair could take that route. Let's see if we can find a different route. Oh, come on. There is a ramp into stairs. That is so mean. I don't think there's another route around these stairs, which is truly unfortunate. We get our red skull. Oh, we got ramps on the sides here for no reason, but we can't get ramps instead of stairs. Poor shame, Akita. It wasn't terrible. I think I'm going to have to give 0-S might need some help. Mostly just some stairs, but nothing too bad. So, our first encore level here. Ramps on the sides here. A little bump here, but nothing too bad. We got steps. We got this thing again where it goes ramps into steps. It's so mean. Theoretically, I feel like a person in a wheelchair could wheel up these. And we have more stairs. Ooh, yeah, and then we had to slide into here. And we had more stairs there. I'm not even keeping track of the stairs anymore, man. Then steps again, and also these gaps. Grabbing our skull and heading on out here again. Gotta jump. There's just no route where you can avoid jumping, really. You have to jump. Now this is best case scenario. We've got a really good person in a wheelchair here. They're really strong. Ooh, yeah. This might be a real die scenario because I don't think anybody. Well, I mean, you don't die to the heat. This might have to be another die. And more steps. I'm about to say 0-E gets a good old die. Okay, moving on to Limbo. I actually didn't think about this. We could consider secret exits, potentially. If all else fails, we already have stairs here. I thought you were supposed to be able to play this game any way you want. More stairs. More stairs again. Again, more stairs. But, yeah, not terrible, honestly. Probably gonna need a little bit more help than 0-4 and 0-S because you gotta jump a couple times. But overall, not terrible. Okay, moving on to 1-2 now. You know, for such a calm level, not what I want to see. Okay, maybe. Okay. So technically you could get up there with just jumps. No slamming or slam jumps required. This ain't looking too hot. Got a ramp. All right. 1-2. Not probable. It's just really that big hurdle at the beginning, getting from that bottom area to the top. If it wasn't for that, it would probably be like might need some help. All right, moving on to 1-3. Okay, so we're gonna see how blue path works for us. Ooh, some pretty steep stairs. Okay, could you? All right. You can technically fall down here, but then you get stairs here, and then more stairs here, more stairs here. But overall, that wasn't bad at all. Overall, I'd rank 1-3 as just a might need some help. Not quite fully accessible, but overall, like, that wasn't that bad. All right, moving on to 1-4. Okay, starting off horribly. More stairs. Okay, great. Theoretically, you can just jump into here. So coming over here, you would have to shoot that and then jump. Okay. This is even worse because this is going to require a lot more jumping and stairs. I'm not gonna say this is happening. Yeah, yeah, no. Looking at 1-4, I'm going to say not probable. All right, moving on to 1-S. I actually think this is going to be another fully accessible one. Actually, yeah, we just start with a ramp. Can I just no clip through these? Okay, cool. I don't feel like doing the level. I swear I can do these. I swear. Like, yeah, it's just straight. It's just straight shots all the way through. Then you get to the end, and you get the testament, and you just fall down. Hey, that right there is another fully wheelchair accessible level. Let's go. All right, now moving on to 1-E. I'm not confident with this level. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Coming into here, we have a ramp. Hey! Into stairs. Into more stairs. Got this. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about this room. Yeah. I'm so sorry for you wheelchair motherfuckers. I mean, I'm gonna go through the rest of the level for the sake of ranking it, but yeah, no, okay, maybe I won't. You know what? Alright, I'm sorry, 1-E, but you are very bottom of die currently. Between the bottomless pit room, the lava, and whatever else would come after that. No. Alright, moving on to Lust. I don't have high hopes for Lust, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, well, hey, it's not stairs. It's not stairs. It would be a little difficult, but it's not stairs. And then we get to this. Yeah. Definitely gonna need some help. And then stairs, and oh, this might have to be another die situation. Yeah. We'll finish going through the level, but, and then, yeah. And then wall jumps and more jumping and stairs. This is just like a big middle finger to anybody in a wheelchair. Yeah, no, get me out of here. Ah, my legs. They don't hurt because I can't feel them. Ranking 2-1, well, it's gonna get another die. Not quite bottom of die. It's not a good look for Lust and Minos. All right, moving on to 2-2. One of my favorite levels in the game just because of the Requiem leitmotif in this setup alone. Let's see how good Minos' city is, how accessible it is. Unfortunately, we're gonna go some stairs, but that's to be expected by now. ULTRAKILL's hell is not exactly the most conforming to, you know, willing to become accessible. I failed to consider jump pads in the equation. I think they're allowed because you can walk into them, so. But we'll limit air movement with the jump pad. Let's see. Okay. So, technically, you're fine there. More stairs and more stairs. And, oh, I forgot it. Ooh, Minos, your city is not looking very accessible right now. And then more stairs over here, if I remember. Yep. 2-2. Not probable. I don't think it's quite die because it's mostly just stairs. It's lots of stairs. I think we need to move this up and this up, honestly. 2-2 wasn't terrible. Moving on to 2-3 here. Wow. Okay. Well, we can't jump, so we're just gonna fall into the water here. Not good at all. Definitely gonna need some help. Coming through here, we get our skull. We fall down. We fall down. We have to jump up here. We gotta punch this in. We have to jump again, and then more jumping, and then more stairs. And then more stairs and stairs. Stairs upon stairs upon stairs. Yeah, no. All right, 2-3 is it's gonna be not probable for me. Way too many jumps, too many stairs. All right, moving on to 2-4. This one actually has some potential. Yeah, I mean, we just get straight on this. We ride our little tram down. No, nice little tram ride. I mean, I can walk up it. I can walk up it. But you can also walk upstairs is my issue. It's hard to consider, but I think this is okay. And some stairs. God, there was so much potential in this level. Come over here. A little ramp, which is nice, into more stairs. Okay, tram doesn't want to work anymore, so we're just gonna move along. Just pretend we're on the tram here, not doing these things. You can whiplash it here too. Game does not like when you disable enemy spawns, apparently. Theoretically, this cage thing, these pillars wouldn't be here, so you'd be able to walk in, probably. Overall, 2-4 might need a little bit of help. Not quite fully accessible, but might need a little bit of help. While we're here, we're also going to go ahead and rank 2-S. In this case, since we're in a wheelchair, you're wheeling really quickly to school, and you turn a corner and smack into a girl. Theoretically, 2-S is fully accessible. Moving on to Gluttony now. I don't expect a lot from Gluttony. This counts as a ramp. That counts as a ramp, okay? That's a ramp. Now, technically, we could just exit through the Prime Sanctum exit, but we're going to try and go through the main exit. But so far, you know, it's a lot of ramps, just skeletal ramps. Okay. Okay. So we're going to turn around, and we're just going to take the Prime Sanctum exit. So overall, 3-1 only might need a little bit of help. Not that bad, actually. Okay, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. We're going to go ahead and do P1. It's called a staircase, but, like, look at this thing. This is a ramp. Don't lie. We're just going to take our nice little spinal ramp. I'm the John Ramp. This is not a staircase. This is a ramp. As the John Ramp, I'm going to sue you, Hakita. I'm trying to fill this really uncomfortable long pause that is this ramp, not staircase. How long is this? I don't remember it being this long. I never take the spinal staircase. Spinal ramp. All right, cool. So yes, falling down is fine. Bam, and a straight shot to the exit. That wasn't bad at all. So overall, P-1 is fully accessible. And I mean, he has a pretty steep ramp, so you may struggle on it, but a true wheelchair pro knows how to control their wheelchair. All right, moving on to Gabriel. Yeah, we're not climbing up this. We're going to take the shortcut. Falling down is just fine. And then you just fall down into the exit pit. So, we come at a bit of a crossroads. On one hand, I would definitely rank this not probable without the shortcut. But this is 100% fully accessible with the shortcut. We'll put 3-2 here for now. If I change my mind and I'm like, shortcut. I mean, I'm including shortcuts for everything else, so I think it's only fair to include shortcuts here. Okay, moving on to Greed. Terrible start. We have stairs immediately. More stairs. More stairs. Not good. And then a jump. Ooh. More stairs. More stairs. And another jump. I mean, if you want to burn your... Oh, this is like the only lava in the game that doesn't just boost you out the moment you touch it, huh? In that case, no, you can't burn your booty to avoid the stairs. Then we have another jump and more stairs. And then another jump, like, because it fakes you out because it's so mean. And then more stairs. And then another fake out. And then more stairs. Green's not looking so good so far. Overall, this has got to be an easy, not probable. There's just so much jumping, so many stairs. Anybody in a wheelchair would struggle with that. Moving along to 4-2. You know, hang on. Well, you burn your feet off on this sand, not sand, gold. Technically, the wheel... We're gonna say this is a wheelchair with like really, really strong wheels. I don't really know, like good, like indestructible rubber material. We have titanium frames and like really, really strong rubber wheels that we can just roll across this burning hot gold. And Akita, why? Wait, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's a ramp. A really, really thin ramp that probably shouldn't count. Okay. Oh no. There's no angle we can get on this. Wait. We can walk up this surely, right? Slide up it. Whoa. Okay, you learn new tech every day, I guess. So I guess we have to take some stairs. And then more stairs. And then more stairs. and then more stairs, and oh my, just this little detour to take the blue skull. Place this down, and then have to climb up forced stairs. Okay, ranking 4-2, I was really, really like hyped for it at first. I'm like, yeah, it was gonna be fully accessible because we could just go on the sand because of our titanium wheelchair. And then it hit that I needed to get the skulls, and that there were stairs, and then the blue skull didn't have an angle to get it from, and gonna need some help. Okay, I don't get a good feeling about this level already, but 4-3, we'll check it out. Hakita! Man, you gotta start using ramps instead. And more stairs, and then more stairs, and then more stairs. And after all that stairage, more stairs, and more stairs. Then you come along here, more stairs, more uphill stairs, very steep stairs, by the way. And then after all of that stairage, finally can you walk around here to get down here. So really just a lot of stairs, actually. So looking back at it, 4-3 was not that bad at all. More stairs, more stairs, more stairs, more stairs, more stairs, more stairs, more uphill stairs. It was really just stairs. So I think you'd only need a little bit of help. Okay, moving on to 4-4 now. I'm a little bit worried about this one. Yeah, straight off with the stairs. Oh, what? Wait, you can't even walk over this. Okay, so we're gonna try the other route then. Jump pad with minimal air movement. Get knocked into here. Bam. More stairs. I'm not allowing air movement, but the whiplash I am. So I think it's okay to whiplash to these and let the momentum take me on like the blue ones. But I can't like do this. Like I can't, you know, move around left and right with all this air mobility. Like I just have to do this. Like once I grab onto one of these green ones, I just stop dead in my tracks. So looking at it, 4-4, it's really just stairs. Honestly, not that bad overall. I'll put it in might need some help. Okay, I am not looking forward to this one. 4-S. Okay, starting off, we have a jump, another jump. Okay, yeah, I think it's just safe to, you know, die. Next layers. Now we're going on to Wrath. Required sliding? That's a first, I just realized. Besides the tutorial, actually. You come into here, down here. Really cramped. That's another thing I gotta consider. This is really cramped. It would be difficult to get a wheelchair through here. More required air movement here. Well, actually, technically you can whiplash cancel. I didn't consider that. I want to minimize whiplash canceling. It feels a little bit cheesy. Stairs, man. Oh, you'd have to do like force here. This level's got all the bad things, man. And then more fools. Okay, you know what? Get me out of here. I hate this place. 5-1. Not quite a die, but it's definitely not probable. We got required air movement. We got whiplash canceling. We got stairs upon stairs upon stairs. It's got it all. We got tight and cramped spaces. It's made me think of things. You know, just because it's made me think of things I didn't even think about before, we're putting it to die. I don't like you anymore, 5-1. All right, moving on to 5-2. I'm not excited for this level. How many of these levels just start off with stairs, man? You could theoretically bounce across, or you could just let your wheelchair tank the damage. Okay, maybe we don't want to let the wheelchair tank the damage. Maybe that's a bit too much damage. We're allowed one health bar, one single health bar to bounce across. This is becoming a puzzle more than anything. You take one bit of damage here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think I can live with that rule set. We're not going to limit, but we're going to minimize the usage of letting our wheelchair tank the damage. And then you have to go down more stairs, more stairs, more stairs. Come up here, bam. Then you fall down onto more stairs. And then you do that, and then somehow you have to get over here. And you know, this might have to be a die, just because like how much damage you'd have to tank from this. And then all the stairs, and if you're not taking damage from this, you're jumping. And there's jumping here. Okay, 5-2. That's another die. That's another die. Okay, moving on to 5-3. Starting off straight with stairs. And we only have to take one set of stairs. 2, 3. So that's 3 sets of stairs. 4, including this having to go back up. So blue skull is objectively better. More stairs. I mean, it's a lot of stairs, but it is still just stairs. Okay, well, a required jump into a ramp? That's so mean. Into another ramp. Into another required oh. It's such a double-edged sword. We lose the stairs and gain ramps, but we lose not having to jump. Oh, it's so mean. Oh. All right, so 5-3. You know, with it just being stairs, I was tempted to put it here, but then it was a lot of stairs. Then I was tempted to put it here. But then it became ramp, so it was probably going to be here. But then there was the required jumping, and I think it's going to have to be a not probable for me. Okay, moving on to 5-4. You know what I got to say to this? There you go. That's what I have to say to this. It's 5-4, huh? I mean, it's a lot of jumping. I still think it's a not probable. If we're going to call 5-3 not probable because of all the jumping, then definitely 5-4. Okay, now this one I'm actually interested in because, well, it's fishing. And fishing, it's got to be a wheelchair accessible activity, right? But I hate to say it, but I think we're going to be one fish short of being able to call this fully accessible. And I think you can already tell which one it's going to be. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. Hang on, wait, I got it. Hold up. Hang on. We might be able to call this fully accessible. Despite my assumptions. There we go. But that's a ramp. Good job. We get our little testament. And I could safely say 5-S as another fully accessible level. Okay, moving on to Heresy. I have no hopes for Heresy. Look, they even put just a little bit of stairs just to torture you. So many staircases. We're just gonna speed right on through because, oh my god, it hurts. Oh, the wheels on my wheelchair are crying. More steps and more steps. This is the sound of people who had to use stairs when they were wheelchair. Yeah. Required jumps. Oh, that's a neat fact that I never knew existed. But also, screw you, Hikita, you debated me. We get more steps, more steps, more steps. At the end, more steps. Normally, like, a few jumps and some steps would land at a not probable. But since you're falling down into the abyss or into blood pools, I'm about to put it in a bit of a die scenario. Okay, moving on to 6-2. Oh, more stairs and required jumping. This is going to be a lot more required jumps than if we just come over here, jump twice here. That's the real boss, not Gabriel, by the way. The real boss is the stairs. Not terrible, but kind of bad. So overall, 6-2, gonna need some help. Plus, plenty of stairs. For how short the level is, there's plenty of stairs. P-2. Oh man, that's just rude. Dude, look, there's even a ramp here, man, and more stairs on top of more stairs. And then the level breaks? There we go. Now it's fixed. We come over here with stairs, into stairs, and then required jumping. More stairs, and then we come along here. And we finally come down here. You know, it's a real shame P-2 is a bit of a die situation when P-1 was fully accessible. Okay, down to our last layer here, violence. Into a long staircase. All right, already. And there's going to be plenty of, like, these little bits of stairs that we're going to have to deal with. And then get up here, we're required to jump. And then bam, then more stairs, you can fall down them at least. So you have to deal with lots of stairs. Oh, wow, this level's bad. You viewer, play a drinking game for the rest of this video. Every time I say stairs, take a shot. You'll be dead within the hour. No, better yet, within the next 2 minutes. More stairs. Take a shot, by the way. More stairs, take another shot. More stairs, take another shot. Then over here, more stairs, take another shot. And stairs, take another shot. Which we can actually use to skip some stairs. Again, skipping stairs. More stairs. Are you drunk yet? You better be. Wait for it. He's gonna hit it. Oh. Oh, he's edging. Oh, he hit it. He did it. Yeah! And then stairs. And then we're finally out of here. So, 7-1. It's not quite a die, but it's definitely not probable. You got lots and lots of stairs. The simply contender for most stairs in a level so far. And then you had those required jumps. And some of those falls were a bit big. And some of those areas were a bit tight. And moving along to 7-2. Starting off with stairs. Lovely. That's bad. Ooh! Stairs. Don't do it to me again. Wow, I just feel so betrayed. Fall down right here, and then we get a little ramp. And the required jump. And wait, hang on. Is that a required dash? You just like, you just go Go for it. Yeah, okay. You don't need to dash there. So just a required jump. And yeah, we're not making that jump. So we're going to have to jump out like this. We need to do some air movement. Yeah, that's some required air movement. You don't have to dash, but you definitely have to do a bit of air movement. Or ramp. Okay, hang on. We're gonna go get the tramp. I might just have to give up on this level with how much air movement there is required. I don't like calling it early on a level. Okay. And then we'd get the payload, and we'd fall down. Okay, yeah, no. Okay, 7-2 was really bad. I don't think it's necessarily a die sort of situation. Because, like, you're not gonna die. Well, yeah, we'll put 7-2 in die. Okay, moving on to 7-3. Don't shoot. Oh my, stairs. Struggle a little bit, not too much. More stairs, and they're pretty vertical. Oh my god. Yeah, just imagine trying to fit a wheelchair through here. And more stairs? Man, violence is truly violent against disabled people, man. Then we get here with lots of stairs. Okay, not as bad as 7-2, I'll tell you that. So, 7-3, I'm gonna say you're gonna need some help, because it's just a lot of stairs. Okay, our last normal level of the game, 7-4. Not only do we get forced to slide, then we get immediately put into stairs. And I kind of forgot that this disables the whole level. This giant skyscraper of a war machine was not designed to be climbed using a wheelchair. Oh, I used the kill keybind. Well, I think that's my sign to just get out of here because, yeah, you know, this is the least wheelchair accessible level yet. Okay, so, final verdict. Yeah, no, that's an easy, die. That's like bottom. You know what? This is so bad. We need a whole new row here just so I can call it Total Annihilation. Just for 7-4. Okay, our final level of the video is 7-S. Ramps. Akita! Akita has blessed us! We just need the angle. Akita, have you blessed us one final time? Ramp. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Surprisingly enough, we went from probably our worst level yet to one of our best. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious why there were ramps instead of stairs here. I'm sure with the way the blood in the game works, it would be a bitch to deal with. Like, if you tried to clean it on the stairs, it would get stuck in between the crack of the stairs and it'd be difficult to get. So Akita probably just made it so they were all ramps instead of stairs. But that is a blessing for us because, look at that. We got ourselves actually quite a few fully accessible levels with wheelchair accessibility. But I mean, overall, ULTRAKILL is definitely not wheelchair accessible. I think that is safe to say.